Yo, 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 so sick Nash fam back, and this time we got that boy, Mr. Karate, man. This character right here is sick. They really cooked with this one for sure. They've been cooking with all the DLC, so shout outs to SNK. But yes, Mr. Karate is here, and man, he came to play no games because I definitely think this character is 1000% gonna be meta. This character is very powerful. He has a lot of good tools, a lot of unique tools that are gonna shake up the way Fatal Fury is played, especially with some of his unique mechanics where he can make his rev go down or yours go up. I think that that's a very creative idea, and I think that it's gonna shape how he's gonna play in general. So, for starters, this character, as we all know, is Robert Garcia, and now he is taken over as Mr. Karate. So he's going to retain some of the moves, but mostly he's going to play like Mr. Karate. So with that being said, his normals are on the, I would say, kind of like stubbier side. Like when I was playing with him, I didn't feel like his normals were like crazy. I just felt like they were like, just regular pokes. Especially his stance C is going to be the one where if you step outside of range, you can hit somebody. Stand D is also like that, but I like his stand C a lot more. But like his light normals, besides his stand B is very good. Very KOF-esque, where it's just a really, really long stand B, just kind of like Marco's. So I think that that's going to be good, and like his light chains into super are going to be like very, very powerful. So I think that that's really good about him, but it's just outside of that, like, his jab is very short reach and stuff like that. So you're going to have to be close to get all of your offense going. Now, with that being said, he does have a 4-frame close standing A +1. His stand B is +2, so that's really good. 6 frames. His crouching B, let me make it crouch. It's gonna be chainable, so you'll be good in that regard. Feint wise, he can only feint this, so he only has one feint, and that's his fireball feint. So like when he feints moves, like right there, you see the close C is +3. Close D is only +1, which I thought it would probably be more, but it's not. So you're gonna have to take your advantage with like lights, stuff like that is going to be good. But other than that, he's a run character, so thank goodness that they actually added a run character. Finally, he is the first DLC that is run. So that is pretty hype because we've only had dash characters. So his mobility in general is going to be good in that regard. You're not going to have to worry about dashing across the screen and trying to like win neutral when this character can just run across the screen and get like heavy value. But his crouching C hits twice, but it is limited in range. And one thing I did see is if you rev guard him out and you kind of stand block afterwards, his crouch C can actually whiff in a lot of spots, especially even if you do like a string like this. If somebody revs, it will put him outside of range and kind of put you in a bad spot. So you definitely have to, with this character, pay close attention if the opponent is revving or not, because it can put you in some really really bad spots. And I'm gonna kind of show that out. Like, you see how that just whipped? So that's something to be very careful of. And like that just whipped. So I do think he's weak to rev guard, but more people will figure out like some block strings to do and stuff like that. So he will develop, but I do think the rev guard is very, very powerful against him. So if you are fighting against the character, I would say you want to for sure rev guard against him, because rev guarding is just strong in general, but you're definitely going to want to rev guard against him. But if he does get a close C, he is +6, meaning he can link his crouching C. So that is very good. And that's like a basic combo that I've been working around with that nets a lot of damage if you get the hit. So his combo routes and all of how he structures his offense is very easy and very simple to understand. So hopefully you can take that combo and just kind of run with that, because that's going to be the basis of his routing, is going to be the kicks into all of his other special moves. So if you get a close stand D, same thing, you get that crouch C. So I'll show the combo again. Just like that, and 506 that time. So yes, like I said, his routing is very easy and very simple to understand. And those are going to be the primary heavies that you're going to be using to try to get your offense going. Now, with that being said, let's talk about some of the unique things about him. Now, he does come with a wall jump, which is very unique. I didn't think this character would have something like this, but he does have a wall jump, which is really cool. So if you press back and D off the wall, like near a wall, he will just hop off of the wall. Now, if you hold it, he'll actually come off the wall with this like diving kick, which I'll put him in the corner, boom. And then he comes off the wall with this diving kick. So you can do a little combo off of that if you need to, but even on block, it's pretty good on block depending on how it hits. And the good thing about this, it is an overhead. So your opponent has to stand block when you do this. Just like that. So -1 if you hit it at like the top of their head. So you always want to do it low to the ground, kind of like that. And then you could get like +6 at best, or even probably more. So it depends on like the angle, how close your opponent is, when the move hits. It's one of those type of moves. So needless to say, it is a very unique and very strong tool that he has, especially when your opponent is near the corner. Now, another move that's very unique about him is he comes with this kick. So if you're familiar with Iori, you're gonna know about that kick. And Dongwon also has a kick very similar, where he can just cross you up. And this is good also on hit because you can get a full combo. Now you see +7 because I hit it at the lowest. But one thing about this, sometimes you're not going to be able to hit it at the lowest. So if you're not you know, sure you're gonna hit it at the lowest point, you could just do a stand B to confirm. And just like that, that makes it a little easier, so you're not just like jumping in trying to get a crouching C, and sometimes you're not gonna hit it just right to get that, you know, that full crouch C combo. So to make sure you get that, you're going to want to hit that stand B and then go into crouch C. That makes it a lot easier. Now, I want to talk about two really cool mechanics that he has, which the first, if I rev myself up, if I hold down the A button, I can actually make all of my rev go away, which is kind of crazy. So like, let's say you're like hella revved up, like your rev is high, you're at like 60-70%, you knock your opponent away with a super, and then you immediately do that taunt to make your rev go down. So instead of trying to take the Oki on your opponent, you actually just make your rev go down. I'll show an example. So I'm revved up. Okay, I'm at 50. I do this. And then instead of taking the Oki, I just make that go down a little bit. So that's going to be powerful. And it's going to make your opponent have to approach you, because if you're heavily revved up, you could just make it go down at the back of the map. And your opponent's going to have to run after you to try to get you. Now, another thing that he can also do is raise the other person's rev gauge. Now, this is really powerful because if your opponent is very high, like I'm talking like right here, like let's do it right about here. Hey, look at that. Overheat. So when you think about it, if you get your opponent really like close to overheating, the threat of you even doing this attack and overheating your opponent can make you win the whole set. So that's like very powerful, and I think that that's going to make him very strong in general, because he has, you know, a situation even like that, which is kind of insane when you think about it. So then we're going to talk about, he does have a couple command moves, which is his stand D. Like if you just keep pressing it, he'll just keep hitting you. And then if you press forward in D, he will knock you down. And then if you press forward in B, he will do an overhead. Now there's no low threat, so I think the overhead is a bit gimmicky, but you could do it meaty on somebody's wake up if you have like a setup, because that still is going to hit overhead, and then you could go for something like that. But the cool thing about his stand D is it's a restand. So if you do, you see how it just brings the opponent back to the ground, so you can go for like resets. But this stand D is really good because you can actually combo off of it. You could do a super because they still are counted in juggle state. And you see how that juggled, because it's a unique property on his stand D where they are still in juggle state. So you can do either super and get damage. And that's going to be really good also, because if somebody like short hops at you or anything and they don't press a button, but even if they press a button, you can beat them out. But if they don't press a button, it's like guaranteed damage. Like that is a guaranteed juggle, and that's really, really powerful. So the fact that he can juggle you with the stand D is like kind of insane. And another powerful tool about him is his jump D. If you press it twice, it'll just like put them in kind of like a reset state, where you can get some offense going from the air. So his air-to-air game is also very powerful. So I think that like overall, all of his unique attacks are like interesting, and they add like a different layer to Mr. Karate for sure. All right, let's talk about Mr. Karate's special moves. So of course he's going to come with a fireball, but there's something very unique about this fireball. So you see Marco's shooting a fireball, and I shoot mine, and it completely destroys. His projectile keeps going, and it goes all the way to hit him. This is going to be one of the most powerful tools in the entire game. The fact that his projectile literally clears all other projectiles. That is really, really strong. And very unique, because that means he's going to be able to control the pacing of the match. So when you are fighting these strong projectile characters like a Hotaru, like a Hokutamaru, they're not going to be able to do anything about you shooting your projectile. They're going to have to like JD it and respect it, because they're not going to be able to beat his projectile at all. His projectile is just going to clear them. And the heavy version, same thing, but the heavy version, you can actually charge it and make it a bigger projectile, which is actually pretty hard to jump over. You have to jump over pretty early. If you try to jump over late, you'll actually get clipped because of just how big the fireball is in general. So like I said, his fireball is really good, and this one is faster. Like that version is faster, the C version. So it's really good. The EX version is like a blast. So the EX version is just like Marco's, where it just like juggles the opponent. But the thing about his fireball is you can dash cancel a lot of his special moves. If you just press either you press like the break button, or you press the rev button, you will get this dash input like that. So that's very useful because it can extend a lot of his combos. So you're going to be using that dash mechanic a lot. But just to show, like, his EX projectile is actually just a blast. So it's very, very similar to Marco. And then he's going to come with an uppercut. 5-frame invincible uppercut. Very, very strong, of course. So he's going to have a wake-up option. You can do his DP break on his heavier version of his uppercut. But this one you can also charge. And when you charge it, it hits multiple times. So same thing, if somebody jumps at you and you had it charged, it's going to hit multiple times. And of course, you can just air juggle with this uppercut. So his uppercut, very, very straightforward. His uppercut is just like other uppercuts outside of the fact that you can actually charge his uppercut. So Same thing with the EX version. It's going to be like the exact same. Just a lot of launch height on the EX uppercut. Then he's going to have this dragon kick. Dragon kick is really good because same thing. Marco has something very similar. Now, if you do this, if you just like, let's say you just want to throw this out, right? If you throw it out, the further you are and the later the active frames hit, you'll be safer. So if you throw this out from like right around here, you can get -3. But of course, if you throw it out around here, you're going to be like super unsafe and you will get punished. So you just have to be very, very, very careful about throwing it out up close. But from a distance, it's still a good move to kind of just throw out there. The heavier version bounces off the opponent's block and it's -24. Now, every character is going to be able to punish this. You can either run up and punish it, maybe dash up and punish it, do a lunging special move, but everybody is probably going to have at least one move that they can actually punish. But if you're a run character, you could just run at him and get a combo. So depending on your character, you're going to have to lab that out, but the -24, it is -24. So you are going to be able to punish him. Now, he can break it and do this dash, but he's still -6. So you're still going to eat a punish, but you probably won't eat that bad of a punish versus the -24. But it, like I said, it just depends on the matchup, because some characters might not be able to punish you that hard if you just let this rock off of somebody's block. So it kind of just depends. EX version, when you break it, it's -3. So that is safe to kind of throw out there, because once you do the dash, he is -3. And like I said, same thing with the EX uppercut and uppercut break. Those are safe universally. So that is going to be a move that you're going to kind of throw out from time to time, but mostly when you use that, you're going to use it in combo routes, because he can get some pretty juicy combos with his dragon kick. And then last but not least of special moves is going to be his stance. So this kick stance right here is really good, because if you do nothing, it's just going to auto parry, right? But this does lose to lows. But the EX version actually does not lose to lows. It will still auto parry. So that's really good. Now, the thing about this, it has a lot of unique things going on. For one, you can actually get a full animation if you parry on like specific frames. Like if you time it just right, you won't just get that kick. You'll actually get a 3-part straight. Let's see if I can do it. Boom, boom, boom. First try. So when you get that animation, it's a lot more damage and you get a lot more value off of that. And that is really good, because if you do the EX version, you can, you know, just cancel into EX moves and get a full combo route. So that is very strong, but that is going to take a lot of timing. So you're going to have to find your opponent's timing to even get that down. But he does come with a dash where he can dash out of pressure. But the good thing about this, if you time this right, it will actually slow the game down. So let's see if I can do it. Just like that. So when he slows the game down, you can press another input. And you have invul. So right there you saw I'm +5. So I can immediately go into like a jab and then like an uppercut. So let's see if I can do this. Just like that. And you see that's very strong, because the biggest thing about it is you get invul frames, so you're going to be able to just react and, you know, do whatever you want. You can also command grab, which I'm going to show you. He has a command grab if you press the C version of this attack, and he'll just command grab his opponent. So that's going to be good against opponents that block a lot. So maybe you get on top of their wake up, go into stance, and then you command grab them. So right here, and I just canceled out of that animation right into an invul command grab. So that's going to be really strong. If you press the B button, he'll just cancel out of the stance. So you want to fake out your opponent, get on their wake up, and just fake them out. That's going to be really powerful. And then the D version is overhead. This overhead is -5, but you will be able to probably do meaty setups with it and make it a little safer, and or be able to just fully combo off of that option. Now the thing about that, he does have a follow-up kick like that does knock down. And the EX version, like I said, of this stance is really good because you can just cancel into EX moves. If any of the moves hit, you can just go into any other routes that I showed previously. Now, I'm not done talking about this stance because it does one more thing that is kind of ridiculous. Well, actually two, right? So I'm going to have Marco shoot this fireball. And now I'm in stance. It also, not only does it auto parry attacks, but it auto parries projectiles. So right here, it's just going to nullify that projectile altogether. And if you time it right, I can kick the projectile back at my opponent. That is absolutely insane. So when I tell you a character can just control all of the neutral and you just don't have many options, that's going to be Mr. Karate. Because fireballs are completely off the table against this character, 1000%. So, and I think that that's cool that he even has something like that. Because the only other character that was really reflecting projectiles off the top of my head was Hotaru and Salvatore. And now we have Mr. Karate, and his neutral just in general is just so much better just because he has the fireball that beats fireballs, and then he can just kick fireballs back at you. So he's going to be controlling the pacing of the match like completely. Now let's talk about his super. So he does come with this invul super, where he just jumps forward. If you are close enough, it goes into a full animation. Really cool animation, by the way. And the C version as well. Completely invul. And then his kick super is going to be this huge fireball. So if you see a fireball coming out, like Marco shooting a fireball, boom, you can get a wild punish on that. Same thing here. Boom, boom, boom. Lots of damage. So he's going to be able to have that same threat that Marco has, where if you do shoot a fireball, he can immediately super you. So, like I said, controlling the pace, if you like a character that can control the pace of the match, is going to be Mr. Karate. Now, there's something hidden about this character that is not on the move list. He does have a hidden super. So first, I'm just going to show his hitting gear, of course. Might as well show the hitting gear while we're here. Really dope hitting gear. Real dope hitting gear. Mask falls off. Mask on, mask off. And then he has a hidden super that is not on the move list. It's going to be quarter circle forward, quarter circle back, both punches. This is not on the move list, by the way. One of the dopest supers in the game, period. I saw it on Twitter. I was like, damn, like, yeah, that's the one. So, man, this character, yeah, they really did cook up with this character. Like I said. With that being said, I think Mr. Karate's good. I think he's really good. I'm excited to see what people learn within this week, within this month, and in the coming months to see if this character, you know, splashes onto this tournament scene and starts dominating. Because I think he has all of the tools to dominate. He has some slight weaknesses, but his strengths are so good that, you know, we don't even have to talk about the weaknesses. Now, the next character I will be covering on the channel is, of course, Kinshiro, and a lot of people are hyped for that one. I'm hyped to see what he does, and man, I just can't wait. But hey, we're almost there because it's next month. With that being said, hopefully y'all enjoyed this Mr. Karate guide. And the next time y'all see me, hey, it'll be King Shit Up. Thank y'all for watching. Until next time, peeps. Peace.